What sort of drew you to Distinguished Young Women and wanting to join the program in the first place?
So I have a family friend who was the Distinguished Young Woman of Oregon a couple years ago, and she's like a big sister to me. I've always looked up to her, and I always wanted to do everything she was doing. So when I found out that she was doing this program, I learned a little bit more about it, and I thought it was an amazing program because of the life skills that it gives you, and also, of course, the scholarship money. And because of her, I was like, well, when I become a junior in high school, I'm going to go out for Distinguished Young Women too. And it was a, one of the best decisions I've ever made. I wasn't really expecting anything out of the program, but I mean, it worked out well. And so because of that, because of her, it was the real reason that I decided to do the program.
Well, we love when there's somebody that you can look up to who has done the program because it sort of gives you a little bit of an inside perspective of sorts. And you're not going into it so blindly or so nervously because you already kind of have an idea of what to expect. And I think that's sort of the one of the hardest parts about doing anything that's new or that you are unfamiliar with because it's a little scary, a little intimidating. And especially if you're not so excited about the idea of being on stage in the first place. Um, the scholastics part, I think, draws a lot of the girls to this because it's an entirely different ballgame than, a pageant format, which is we are a pageant format style of program, but we separate ourselves because there's so much more to it than that. And so, yeah, I think when you have somebody to look up to and you can actually see it for what it is and get a better idea of things, that definitely helps. So, have you been able to explain to other girls who may be looking up to you and wanting to do this, or has there been any discussion among your younger peers trying to convince them to do Distinguished Young Women?
Yeah, definitely. Every junior girl I see at school, I'm like, you should do the program because Distinguished Young Women is just an amazing program. I always start off with saying it's like a pageant, but it's not a pageant
Right.
because I feel like that's the best way to describe it. The program is so unique. And so I always talk about how it's kind of formatted like a pageant where you have a talent and you're public speaking, but it's so much more than that. It's not like a beauty contest. It's about being a woman who's successful and ready for life. And it prepares you for so many different life skills. I mean, the interview portion is so invaluable to being a woman in the workforce. And so I try to tell every junior girl I see, please do the program because I think that it was so beneficial to me and it'll definitely be beneficial to them.
Yeah. And again, having that perspective from somebody that they are already looking up to, I know is helping them make that decision on whether they want to do it or not. And so we appreciate that sort of positive feedback. So tell me about your journey so far getting to where you are now as the state rep. Did you have a local program and a state program or just a state?
We had an at-large program.
Okay.
So a lot of places have local programs, and there are local programs within Oregon, but the area that I'm from is kind of a larger area. And so we had kind of a makeshift local program where we did our self-expression portion in person and our interview portion in person, but we pre-filmed our fitness and talent portions. And then from there, we had a state program this past summer, and that was more similar to how nationals will be formatted, where it was like a week of prepping and community service and rehearsing for the actual show. And that was much closer to what I'll probably be expecting for next year. And yeah, it was a little bit different, but both experiences were really fun.
Good. Yeah, that's what we love to hear. We depend on the volunteers and everybody who makes these programs come together because that's how you essentially get to where you are now as the state rep, and you're going to be coming to nationals here in Mobile, Alabama, very soon. June will be here. I keep saying this, I keep repeating it every single time, but it will be here before we know it. I feel like we just left June, but it's literally going to be here again in no time. And we're so excited about that because we want to meet all of you face to face. This is something new that I sort of initiated. I wanted these conversations with the new participants, all 50 of you, to sort of ease any concerns, ease any, misguidances that there may be. And so far, there's really not been any. And it's been so great. The conversations have been amazing. Y'all are so smart and talented, and there's a reason that y'all have made it this far. So is there anything that you're super looking forward to when you come to nationals? I mean, it's going to be 2 weeks full of so much fun. Of course, there will be some work. It'll be a little challenging at times, but you're going to meet a girl from every state, which is another thing I keep bringing up. It's that is just so cool to me that you're going to be able to say, I know somebody in every single state now. And you're going to get to see these different cultures even. I mean, somebody from the North versus the South is a very different person. And so I think that's just so unique and something that is another driving force for why I'm such an advocate for the program. But is there anything you're looking forward to? Are you bringing a special talent? What are you most looking forward to?
Well, like you said, I'm so excited to meet all the other girls. I'm from Oregon, which is kind of like closed off in the Northwest. Like I see a lot of Washington people and some California people, but that's pretty much it. And this past summer, I got to go to New York and meet a bunch of people through a program. So that was really fun. And I can't wait to have a very similar experience next year. I like meeting new people and kind of learning about the different places that they come from. I think each state has its own identity and everybody grows up so differently. So I want to learn about other people's lives and the things that they have going on. And also, just like based on my experience in the state program, people have amazing talents and things that like I could have never thought of. And I mean, looking at the girls that I competed with this past summer and the talents that they had, I'm so excited to see the talents that all the other girls are bringing. I want to see like different cultures. I want to experience new talents and see new things that I've never seen before. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I definitely have to say, watching all of the different talents is it's got to be one of my favorite parts of the entire program, just to see. I mean, I don't know another word, but the talent that you all bring and that you have, it's incredible. So it's so much fun to just see and witness that all at one time. So that's one of my favorite parts as well. And I mean, that's just a small part of it. You're gonna see and experience so much more, which is so exciting. So is there anything that you are looking forward to doing now that you are the state rep of Oregon? A lot of girls have come up with some initiatives and things that they want to bring into schools and elementary schools and get the word out there. But I always want to ask this question just to see if there's anything that you are, looking forward to with this newfound title.
So in Oregon, our Distinguished Young Woman program is not really known. It's really small, and there are a couple local programs that do bring in a lot of girls, but particularly in the area that I'm from, there's not a lot of girls that know about the program, or they have preconceived notions of what the program's like that are really misguided and don't actually reflect the true intentions of the program. Like you said, a lot of people see it as a pageant and it's about trying to draw away from that. And sorry, excuse me. As a part as the state rep for this year, I really want to bring this to my school and to the other schools in my area because so many people don't know about the program and it's so life changing. I think that I want to not just by word of mouth, but through like my school newspaper, through other schools' newspapers, through social media and other initiatives, I really want to bring this to the part of Oregon that I'm from. I mean, I'm from Portland, which is one of the major areas in Oregon, but still there's not a lot of people who know about it. So I'm really excited to bring the program and give it more light in my area, but also the state rep from last year, Nasara, she was there during our state week. And it was so nice having her there because she was just a voice of comfort for all of us while we were stressed out about fitness or talent or self-expression or interview. She was just always there for us, and I can't wait to be that for the girls next year during our state program next year. I want to be a voice of guidance for them and somebody that they can look up to. I want to help them prepare for state and perhaps even nationals, but also just for life in general. And hope to be a big sister for them like she was for me last year.
Yes, and she did very well at the national level too. So it's really cool to put a face to a name and know something that they've accomplished and achieved, and how they can help you and guide you along in this sort of new territory. So yeah, I love that, and I encourage all of the girls to do the same thing because a lot of the programs are very small. West Virginia only had one participant in the entire state this year. So um, to get that to get the word out there is a challenge, and that's something that we're why I wanted to have these conversations for, so that we could have that open dialogue and see what are we missing, how are we lacking in that department. And so I appreciate any efforts that go out to try to get the word out there about the program. So it's super cool that you're doing that. So we are kicking off an initiative this year, um, sort of carrying it through national finals. Um, but it's been our mission to get the word out there about the program and about how much of an impact people are making on it. And using the imagery of like a ripple, so a ripple effect, and how one small gesture, one small drop in that water can make such a greater impact on so many things. And as it goes as far as starting with the participants and how y'all are spreading the word out there, and just one small conversation with one girl could change in how much scholarship money she gains, from doing the program. And then for the volunteer sake, just donating their time one Saturday to help the program even happen. And then, of course, our sponsors who we get our fundraising dollars from, and how we're even able to survive and have a program at all, to give these scholarships. So I'm asking all the girls if you have any sort of um, advice or really, I guess advice is the best word, on maybe getting the word out there and addressing that, and how we can maybe get even more people involved at every level. So if there's anything that you may suggest, I mean, a lot of the girls are saying social media, and that's exactly where I brought up to our or what I brought up to our national office, and why these conversations sort of stemmed, how they stemmed. Because it is the way of the world now. Um, but if you have any other ideas, I'd be really glad to hear them.
Well, I've been talking with my local not representatives, but the chair people who help create and organize our local programs. And so I've been talking with them about ways to promote it within Oregon, but I think that this can definitely be applied to a large scale national level. And it's mostly about like getting onto the news and helping parents learn about it because personally I hear a lot of things from my parents and that's why I do a lot of the things I do because they just suggest different things for me to do. They're like, hey, you should try this activity or you should try this. I just heard about it. And I think, not only targeting the girls, but also targeting schools and targeting parents, targeting teachers in the community, like dance teachers or music instructors. I think that that's also really important because those are the people that usually have a lot of influence in our lives as young people. And I think that if they suggest something for me specifically, if anybody in my community that I looked up to suggested something like this program to me, I would definitely be really receptive to that suggestion and want to participate in something like this.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible idea. I come from a news background, so before this, I was working at a TV station in Raleigh, North Carolina,
Mhm.
and we did a lot of it was a lifestyle show. So I did a lot of like really lighthearted things. Something like this would be great for a segment on there. So I think that would be a great idea and a great option. So if you have any news stations there, which I know you do, that you would be interested in me checking into for you, let me know. I can send an email out. I mean, that's what's it going to hurt, and see if they'd be willing to have any sort of interview or open dialogue or conversation on that. But I think that's a great start, and would definitely get some eyeballs on it and some ears and some moms and dads to
Yeah.
listen to it. um, But yeah, okay. Well, I think those are all great ideas, and I love how involved you are with the program. So again, we appreciate that and are so thankful for it. I've been asking this to all the girls to sort of wrap things up in the conversation, but if there was a piece of advice or some words of encouragement that you could give to a girl who is a little scared, a little apprehensive, maybe they think they don't have a talent or their grades aren't as good as they think they need to be, um, what would you tell them? What would you say to them to encourage them that this is something that they should do?
Well, I feel like personally for me, when I came into the program, my interview skills were not that great. And that's something I'm still working on because I like talking a lot and I will just go on and on forever. But I think that the skills that I gained from the program have helped me really grow as an interviewer. And not even with an interview, but I just think overall I've grown so much because of the program. So I would say if you're hesitant about something coming in, don't worry about it because the program is designed to help you become better and improve on what you already have. So you don't need to be worried about where you are now. It's about being motivated to work on yourself and become better. I mean, before when I was doing my at-large program, I couldn't do a push-up for the fitness section. And I practiced so hard so that for the state competition, I could go down and get back up and actually look like I was, you know, actually be able to engage my muscles and get back up. I think that it's about working hard and about improving yourself. It's not about being the best. It's about, yeah, improving yourself.
Yeah, I think that's such great words of encouragement. Um, because it's so true. This program is geared toward helping you become your better self. So that's why we also have the Be Your Best Self initiative that we focus so heavily on, and we even have a full week dedicated to it in April every year. It's because it's teaching you along the way. You don't have to be perfect automatically. Nobody's perfect regardless, but you don't have to be perfect to enter the program, and you can learn along the way, which is so cool.